All right, let's jump right into this explainer by unpacking one of the absolute most important and honestly often misunderstood applications of modern biotechnology. We're talking about genetically modified organisms. Because whether you realize it or not, this technology intersects with almost every single aspect of our daily lives, from the food on our plates to the medicine in our cabinets, and yes, even the fuel in our vehicles. Now, you've definitely seen those non-GMO labels plastered across products at the grocery store, right? It's become a massive marketing buzzword. But today, we're going to push completely past the marketing and explore the actual fascinating science and the profound global impact behind that acronym. Like, what does it actually mean to modify an organism's genetics? And why on earth do scientists even do it in the first place?
So here is our agenda for today. First, decoding GMOs, the basics. 2, how GMOs are actually made. 3, GMOs in the real world. 4, benefits, risks, and rules. And finally, 5, the future of biotechnology. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Decoding GMOs, the basics. The absolutely crucial point here is that a GMO represents directed, intentional evolution on a microscopic level. Its genetic material has been purposefully altered. You see, this isn't traditional selective breeding, where farmers cross-pollinate plants over generations and essentially cross their fingers hoping for a good result. No, this is highly precise biotechnology. Scientists are literally inserting new genes, removing existing ones, or editing specific DNA sequences to introduce really desirable traits, like, say, making a plant naturally resistant to certain pests, or significantly increasing a crop's overall yield. And it's completely staggering when you look at the pace of this technology. Back in 1973, we saw the very first successful recombinant DNA experiment. Then, less than a decade later, in 1982, the commercial production of recombinant human insulin completely revolutionized diabetes treatment, a real game changer. By 1994, the first genetically modified food crop hit the market. And now, here in the 21st century, we have incredibly precise tools like CRISPR-Cas9 that act like molecular scissors. We've gone from basic experiments to hyper-precision gene editing in essentially a single lifetime.
Moving right along to Section 2, how GMOs are actually made.
So how does this actually work? Well, scientists follow a highly precise 4-step process. First up, they have to identify the specific gene responsible for the trait they want. For example, maybe there's a gene in a desert plant that provides incredible drought tolerance. In step 2, they isolate that exact target gene from the donor organism. Step 3 is the critical moment, transferring that isolated gene into the new recipient organism. And finally, in step 4, they select the specific cells that successfully took up the new DNA and regenerate them into complete, fully grown organisms.
Now, when we zoom in on step 3, the gene transfer part, things get pretty wild. Scientists have developed completely different and frankly mind-blowing methods to get new DNA into a cell. On one side, we have the gene gun method, which is literally exactly what it sounds like. Scientists shoot microscopic DNA-coated particles right into the recipient cells. Boom, genetic modification complete. On the other side, we have agrobacterium-mediated transformation. This is a much more biological approach where scientists use a specific bacterium as a sort of Trojan horse to just naturally carry and transfer the new genes into the plant cells.
Let's look at Section 3, GMOs in the real world.
Stepping out of the lab, the scope of this technology is just vast. It isn't only about agriculture and making pest-resistant cotton, though for sure that is a massive application. It also stretches into the modification of animals for vital biomedical research and disease resistance. And perhaps most directly life-saving, genetically modified microorganisms are used heavily in industrial pharmaceutical production. Remember that recombinant human insulin we mentioned earlier? That comes from GM microbes.
And consider golden rice. This is such a fascinating example because it wasn't engineered just to be easier for farmers to grow. It was intentionally designed to tackle a major global health crisis. By modifying the rice to produce beta-carotene, which our bodies naturally convert to vitamin A, scientists created a staple food that can actively prevent blindness and immune system deficiencies in developing regions where a standard diet severely lacks this essential nutrient.
But, the impact doesn't just stop at your grocery cart or your medicine cabinet. GMOs are heavily utilized in environmental biotechnology and massive industries. We literally have engineered microbes that can eat oil spills in a process called bioremediation. We use them for industrial waste treatment, pollution control, and even manufacturing entirely sustainable biofuels and bioplastics. They are literally being designed to help clean up the environmental messes that human industry has created. That brings us to Section 4, benefits, risks, and rules. Now, with a topic like this, we absolutely have to neutrally weigh the reality of the technology. The advantages are totally undeniable. GMOs offer massive benefits, like significantly higher agricultural yields to feed a growing population, a reduced need for harsh chemical pesticides, and improved nutrition. However, those benefits sit right alongside some very real risks. There are deep environmental concerns regarding gene flow, which is the risk of modified genes accidentally crossing into wild plant populations. There are also health concerns regarding potential new allergens, plus some highly complex ethical debates over intellectual property and who actually owns the genetic resources of our food supply.
Because those risks are significant and totally valid, this is definitely not the Wild West. Many countries enforce incredibly strict safety assessments focusing on human safety, product quality, and environmental impact. This oversight is spearheaded by major global organizations like the World Health Organization, the Food and Agriculture Organization, and the European Food Safety Authority. These bodies are tasked with rigorously evaluating the science before any GMO ever reaches you, the consumer.
Which leads us to our final section, Section 5, the future of biotechnology. The tools we're working with now are becoming advanced at an almost exponential rate. With technologies like CRISPR, scientists aren't just inserting genes from other species anymore. They're making hyper-precise edits to an organism's existing genome. Throw in synthetic biology, which allows for the design of entirely new, complex biological systems from scratch, and bioinformatics, which uses supercomputers to analyze target genes. We are looking at a future where genetic modifications are going to be faster, safer, and infinitely more precise than ever before.
And looking ahead, these innovations aren't just cool lab tricks. They're directly targeting the most massive global challenges we face today. We're talking about developing climate-resilient crops that can actually withstand extreme droughts and flooding caused by climate change. We're looking at foods with drastically enhanced nutritional profiles, livestock that are immune to devastating diseases, totally sustainable biofuel production to replace fossil fuels, and highly advanced personalized medical gene therapies.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this thought. As our scientific capabilities grow to near limitless potential, the question is no longer just what can we do, but rather how should we do it? How will we manage the delicate, absolutely critical balance between leveraging these incredible genetic tools for human survival and advancement, while simultaneously protecting the natural world and its biodiversity? It's a huge question and one that scientists, regulators, and consumers like you will have to navigate together.